This is the Experienced Optimist, and I'm making this video because there are a lot of videos online that are supposedly supplying men with good advice. But most of the videos I find are of men complaining and not offering any constructive guidance. In the event that those aforementioned videos are providing any advice, the lessons are usually rudimentary at best and are cleverly constructed advertisements designed to get men to purchase worthless books, to sign up for one-on-one coaching, to purchase absurd programs, or to get you to donate money so that these make-believe helpers of men can make a living off the backs of their supporters. Therefore, I am making this video for the men that have enough money coming in a month to cover their cost of living expenses, but may have obligations keeping them from moving overseas to escape the racist, douchebag, asshole culture here in the US. This video is also for men that want to escape the unfavorable cultural climate that exists currently, but do not want to become a hermit hiding out in the woods. In essence, this video is for men that cannot proceed with Operation Abandon Ship fully, but still want to maintain a hassle-free lifestyle here in the US. As a side note, a variation of this strategy can also work in other countries. So let's break this down. On my recent foreign trips to 3 countries, Thailand, Grenada, and Albania in 3 months, I narrowed down why US culture is so detrimental to the modern man. Observing these extrinsic locales and pulling knowledge from past overseas business trips, I determined that there are 3 primary problems that exist in the US that generally impede the freedoms of the men that live here. These problems include, firstly, that too many RDAs exist in the US for such a developed nation. RDAs, which stands for racist, douchebags, and assholes. These people cause a significant social disruption for any thinking man. I would argue that America as a country has a higher concentration of RDAs per capita than many other top industrialized nations. Because of this predicament, the thinking modern man struggles to find peace in the US as he forever feels on edge, panicked, and stressed out as a consequence of having to constantly interact with RDAs. Second, the food in America sucks. Every time I travel to another country and eat similar foods to the ones I eat in America, I lose weight, I can think more clearly, and I feel better overall. I performed a social experiment one time when I went to Russia for business and ate Russian pastries, drank various fruit juices, and indulged in greasy Russian foods, and I lost weight and felt healthier compared to when eating meals in America consisting of brown rice, lean chicken, and vegetables. I repeated this experiment in countries like Thailand, Montenegro, and Germany with the same results. This allowed me to conclude that a man must be exceedingly fastidious and overly selective when consuming foods in the US if he wants to remain healthy. And third, the water in many areas of the US is not fit for consumption. I remember when I was a kid growing up in the Midwest, you could drink water straight out the tap and be fine. But this is not the case today for many places. For example, I tested the water coming out of the faucet at my apartment recently, and it was barely in the drinkable range. Adding insult to injury, the filtered water that one buys from the local store, while drinkable, is still often of low quality. While being retired, I have studied these 3 social grievances in great detail over the course of the past year, and I've come up with some great strategies to deal with these problems. The first thing you must do when dealing with the RDAs is that you must move far away from city centers. If you live in places like LA and San Francisco, for example, I would recommend that you relocate to lower cost areas like the suburbs of Phoenix and Las Vegas. Look for places where you can rent a nice apartment for around $1,300 a month in a place that does not get a considerable amount of traffic. Next, and this is very important, make sure that the place you plan to live are accessible by delivery services Amazon, Grubhub, and DoorDash. This is because instead of going out shopping and being inundated with RDAs, you can have all food and grocery items delivered straight to your door, eliminating the need to deal with RDAs that try their best to disrupt your peace of mind. By doing so, you free up more time for yourself to go hiking, go to the park, go to practice MMA and jiu-jitsu at an MMA gym, where your classmates are usually cool. And you can do all these things in addition to whatever activities that you want to do. In the past, you had no choice but to go out and be treated like a second-class citizen. But now, thanks to modern technology, you have more control over your free time and can live, for the most part, RDA free. Secondly, you have to slow down and even halt the consumption of store-bought meat, sugary beverages, anything with beet sugar in it, or anything with corn syrup or high fructose corn syrup in it. For meat, if you're a big meat eater and have hunter friends, pay for them to hook you up with large amounts of venison, rabbit, duck, buffalo meat, etc. You can buy a great portable freezer unit from Amazon and store your meat in it. This will cut down considerably on the amount of money you spend buying garbage meat from the grocery market. Buffalo meat, for example, is exceptional when compared to store-bought meats and is more healthy as well. I have personally started making health shakes consisting of protein powder with no corn syrup in it, hemp protein, oats, and all-bran fiber cereal. This shake fills me up, is nutritious, and cuts down on my sweets cravings remarkably. After a hard workout, this shake gives me a ton of energy and helps me recover faster than eating store-bought brown rice, veggies, and chicken, ironically. Now let's talk about the water. I cannot stress enough that you should filter your water. I was drinking poorly filtered water and it screwed up my body something serious. Now I filter my water with the APAC Water Systems alkaline, mineral, portable, countertop, reverse osmosis water filter system. Now, I'm not trying to sell this to you at all. I mean, I don't have any of those links that I get paid for or anything like that. This filtration system easily hooks up to your kitchen water faucet. And personally, it saves me $30 if not more, $30 if not more a month in drinking water. And there are also other standalone countertop filtration systems. One that many people rave about is the Big Berkey water filter. So you can look into that one as well. Okay, so now I have touched on all 3 areas, and this is how my daily routine breaks down. So like I suggested, I live in a suburb away from the city center. I get all my groceries and food delivered to me. In order to cut down on food costs sometimes, I'll order a month's worth of food from a catering company and keep it in the freezer for when I get a hankering. For most of my meals, however, I make my protein shake as described and head out to the park after a good workout. All in all, I live a very peaceful, RDA-free lifestyle in which if someone offered me $30 million to go back to the life I used to live, I would decline. Now, there are some guys online that talk about moving away from society, building a house in the middle of nowhere and living life away from other people. Unfortunately, however, many of these men are in the same vein as the complainers that I mentioned earlier and talk about doing something, but never develop a strategy for how to get it done. When you question them about what they need to survive or how to get started, they have no clue. Fortunately, there is plenty of information online on how to make that move, and I'm going to share with you some of the information I learned. First of all, and the biggest thing you need to know, is that you can build a complete, comfortable, and roomy, tiny home of outstanding quality for $50,000. This includes a water collection system, off-grid solar system, composting toilet, washer and dryer system, you name it. You can actually build a house that costs less than $50,000 if you build it yourself with recycled or used materials. However, there is good news and bad news. The bad news is that many states in the U.S. have restrictions on where you can park or put your tiny home, even if you own the land that you want to put it on. The good news, nonetheless, is that if you do find a state that will allow you to build a tiny house, it will not cost you a fortune, and it will be relatively easy to live an RDA-free lifestyle once your homestead is established. I recommend that you perform research on tiny homes and tiny home restrictions on the internet and YouTube. There is more than enough information for how to get started, and best of all, tiny house construction continues to improve daily, so I predict building a tiny house will become even more affordable in the future. So if you like this video, like, subscribe, support other MGTOW channels, and you don't have to pay me a dime for this. And there's no associate links or any of that stuff where I get paid off of. This is Experienced Optimist. I'll talk to you later.